You've made it to the end of February and another work week. You've also made it to the FOX54 Week in Review. Gabe Glassman here with a look back at the past 7 days in local news coverage. A back and forth between the Trump administration and court judges leads to headaches on local front, including confusion and unease at the arsenal and uncertainty at how local policies and funding could be affected as time wears on. A walkout of local independent pharmacy employees, what's got them so riled up, could directly affect you, your health, and your pocketbook. We'll explain. And Huntsville City Football Club has a new GOAT. Could this mascot become one of the greatest of all time? More about this week's grand reveal and so much more still to come. This week's top story marks a turning point in the saga that has been the shooting death of Steve Perkins, with the announcement that Decatur Police Chief Todd Pinion is stepping down from his role. Later in the week, the city announcing his interim replacement. Let's jump right in with our coverage, which began last Friday night with a breaking news alert on FOX54.com and our 9 o'clock newscast. This is just in minutes ago. Decatur Police Chief Todd Pinion announcing he'll be stepping down in the near future. He says he will remain with the city in another position, however. This comes after the third-party review of Decatur Police Department in the wake of the shooting of Steve Perkins. The review cited communication issues on Pinion's part as one of the areas for improvement. Pinion's statement, he says, quote, "Life brings many difficult decisions. I'm faced with one today. I've loved serving as your police chief. I look back over the past 3 years and see a number of significant accomplishments. Accomplishments I believe have made Decatur a better place to live and work. Please understand that this is not easy to pursue such challenging goals for a city the size of Decatur without the support of our top leadership, our city council. I've heard that this city cannot move forward while I remain chief. This is only an excuse. Without a doubt, this excuse undermines our forward progress on such important things as community policing, crime prevention, officer recruitment, and retention. Many of the items I shared last year in my executive plan."
I think it'll have a domino effect. I think people will start seeing that accountability is coming. The leadership will trickle down to the rest of the departments and the city as a whole, and we can find some true leadership. That's what we're lacking. That's what Decatur is thirsty for. That's what the community wants. So that's the end goal.
The announcement came in yesterday. In it, Pinion noted during his time as chief, the city of Decatur experienced low crime rates, drugs off the streets, improved police morale, and accreditation. But after Steve Perkins was killed by police in 2023 and a third-party review scathed the department, much of the community was left with a negative opinion.
When you have great power comes great responsibility. So I felt like, and probably the whole city of Decatur felt like, and they've voiced their opinions on social media, that could have been handled a little bit better. Because, you know, if it's so much secrecy around it, then people are going to start being suspicious.
And Terrence Adkins, with standing in power, says with the current climate in the city, he wants to see some changes to the department.
Get police officers more into community policing, more into actually being in the community and impacting change.
Anissa Lige says that change comes from the top down, and the city needs effective leadership.
We need to get a great leader in the role of chief who cares about the community. We understand if they have to enforce the law, but they need to know and learn Decatur, because Decatur is a unique, special place, and we need someone here who understands that.
Pinion will continue to serve in his role until the city picks out an interim chief. He will remain with the department after nearly 23 years on the force. In Decatur, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The city of Decatur has a new interim police chief, Natus Carlisle Jr. It's days after former Chief Todd Pinion decided to step down, and it follows calls from the community to step down over his handling of the death of a man, Steve Perkins, at the hands of an officer. This comes nearly a month after the release of the third-party review of the police department. It was conducted by Green Research and Technology in Huntsville. Our Gabe Glassman was in Decatur when that announcement was made and tells us a bit more about Carlisle and what led to this moment.
That was the moment Natus Carlisle Jr. was introduced as Decatur's interim police chief.
It is indeed an honor to stand before you as the newly appointed chief of police for the great city of Decatur, Alabama.
Carlisle's resume goes back decades, including more than 20 years with DPD, serving in many different roles, including interim chief before Nate Allen's administration, before leaving the department in 2016. So this role is one he's familiar with.
We all know we have some challenges and there's some issues, but I'm confident I'm confident in these guys, and I'm confident in myself.
He's a familiar face for the community. Natus is from Decatur, and shortly after his time with DPD, he became the chief of security with Alabama A&M University until 2021. During that time, Nick Perkins served under his command as a campus police officer.
I've known Chief Carlisle for many years. You know, he's a citizen of Decatur. I don't have anything bad to say about him.
Nick is the brother of Steve Perkins, who was shot and killed by a Decatur police officer in September 2023. He says his concerns lie with the challenges Carlisle will face down the road.
It's a difficult time with a divisive city. And I think the most important thing is the Green Report is still out there, you know. And it revealed a lot of discrepancies and indiscretions of the police department.
Perkins and many in the community still have many questions surrounding the third-party review.
The biggest thing is will Chief Carlisle come in and actually make the necessary adjustments to get the department back to where it needs to be? Citizens are really scared at this point. You know, a lot feel like that their rights are being infringed upon.
Carlisle says he wants to connect with the community while upholding a vision involving transparency and accountability, two things former Chief Pinion advocated for throughout his time in the role.
What I plan to do is to foster relationships. I want to get out the office and go out and see people. I want to go out to the organizations. I want to go to church, charitable organizations. I want to see what they can do to help us help our people. And I want to provide them as well with a resource.
And Carlisle says he would welcome an invitation to remain chief permanently.
If the next administration wants me to stay, I'd like to stay.
But Tab Bowling says it's up to the next administration to appoint a permanent police chief, meaning Carlisle will remain interim chief for at least 6 months. In Decatur, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Pinion previously told Fox 54 he was confident in his ability to lead the Decatur Police Department, and if he ever wasn't, he would have stepped down a long time ago. Decatur Mayor Tab Bowling says there were 3 candidates up for the interim chief role. 2 interviews happened on Friday, hours before Pinion announced he would be stepping down.
Court cases linked to the Huntsville Police Department now in question, all because of the possibility of evidence tampering. Just one concern stemming from a stunning investigation revealed this week. Tonight, we speak one-on-one with the district attorney following the arrests of 5 police officers, including the chief and 1 officer's spouse. They are accused with tampering with physical evidence, distributing drugs, and other felony and misdemeanor counts. Our Ken McCoy tells us what the DA has to say about the impact of dozens of criminal cases there.
In just 48 hours, the residents of Huntsville learned their chief and several officers have been indicted, the evidence room compromised, and the policing of the city turned over to the Coleman County Sheriff. The lack of control at the police department's evidence room could have long-lasting implications. Cases now compromised. District Attorney Champ Crockett tells Fox 54 he was shocked at what he learned. He's working to review every aspect of this case and others.
We are reviewing everything. This morning I had a conversation with a state official about an audit of the evidence room. Huntsville has asked for that audit as well. I asked for it, and that is in motion.
Photos show officers going in and out of the evidence room without authorization. Tampering with evidence is among the charges handed up by the grand jury. However, without cameras inside the room, Crocker says it's hard to say what happened there.
Well, we don't know what they were doing in the evidence room because there are no cameras, in the evidence room itself. But there is some footage showing a lot of activity coming in and out. We see some evidence outside of the evidence room. But there was, when it comes to evidence, not anybody can go in the evidence room.
Crocker says it's important that the people who live here know, despite the turmoil, the community is safe.
The citizens of Huntsville deserve to have law enforcement protecting them. With or without a police department, the citizens of Huntsville, the businesses and the industries there deserve to be protected, deserve to be safe.
Crocker says they are looking into exactly how many cases could be affected due to evidence tampering. In Huntsville, Kim McCoy, Fox 54 News.
Huntsville City Council spent more than an hour listening to public comment about the future of the police department.
Kenesha, the discussion about the Huntsville Police Department ended up being tabled, but the public comment section alone lasting well over an hour, closer to an hour and a half, and many people filled the room quickly, really closer to 4:30, 30 minutes before the city council meeting was set to take place, many of which decided to take part in the public comment session, and quite a few suggesting that they don't want to see the Huntsville Police Department fully go away.
Without our own department, our city ordinances will cease to be enforceable. Response times will increase. We lose local accountability. Right now, if citizens have concerns about the police department, they can come to this council and demand answers. If we permanently hand over policing to the county, we lose that direct oversight.
A local police force has the ability to and should be familiar with the community and all of its citizens to know which issues are frequent and need priority in addressing, whether that is from speeding on a specific street, whether that is drug use, homelessness, whatever. The local officer should be connected with its community to know what the needs to satisfy the citizens are.
Let's not get rid of all of it, get rid of the dirt, get rid of the fraud, because there's a lot of undertones from the community about, I'm sorry, everyone in here being fraudulent, and that there's been a long history of fraud in this community.
I also got a chance to talk to current City Councilmember Patty Dean and former Huntsville Mayor Katie Whitley. Whitley believes there is corruption currently in the city of Huntsville, while Dean says it is a priority to make sure they get this right. Staggering $19 million in funding put on hold for historically black colleges and universities. Alabama A&M listed among 19 HBCUs suspended from a federal scholarship program. The U.S. Department of Agriculture suspended their 1890 National Scholars Program. It has been used to help students from rural and underserved backgrounds pursue careers in agriculture, food, natural resource sciences, and other related disciplines. Recipients receive full tuition, room and board, and other benefits. Alabama A&M University received 17 of the 94 awards last fall. The suspension of the program was announced this week in a short message added to the program's webpage. It reads, the 1890 Scholars Program has been suspended pending further review. No further explanation was provided. We reached out to Alabama A&M about this freeze and received the following response, quote, considering wildfires in California, bird flu in the poultry industry, and 60% of Alabama's economy being agriculture, these cuts are unexpected and will have a long-term negative impact on Alabama and the agriculture industry across the country.
In less than a week, a previously frozen HBCU scholarship is back. It's after the U.S. Department of Agriculture suspended the program without explanation last week. The 1890 National Scholars Program is back, offering $19 million in funding to historically black colleges and universities across the country. Alabama A&M was one of 19 HBCUs suspended from the program. Right now, Alabama A&M supports about 35 1890 land-grant scholars. Recent mass layoffs of federal employees have started to have a noticeable impact on the Huntsville housing market, which has been experiencing rapid growth in recent years. Now it's facing a period of uncertainty. Federal workers have long been a stabilizing force for the economy in this region, but as job cuts ripple through the community, many are wondering what will happen to real estate. Fox 54's Ken McCoy has more with how layoffs aren't the biggest concern.
Huntsville's housing market has been a prime example of growth, with new construction projects and rising property values becoming the norm. But as the federal government cuts jobs in critical sectors like defense, technology, and research, experts predict we could see a slowdown. However, there's another factor slowing down the process.
It has gotten off to a slow start because of interest rates.
Interest rates, which have climbed steadily over the past year, have made home loans more expensive. For first-time buyers, the higher rates mean higher monthly mortgage payments, pushing many to rethink their plans.
People are having to go smaller on their house. The interest rates make the price of the house have to be less because, they have to pay more money in interest.
However, it's not all doom and gloom. While demand for homes has cooled, Huntsville's strong economy, driven by tech and aerospace sectors, is still helping sustain interest. Amy Thrasher with the Morgan County Association of Realtors says it's not time to hit the panic button and is hopeful that the market will sustain.
I think we will see some effects, but do feel like that, it won't be as bad as it seems. There's job opportunities out there, so hopefully those people can be put in other positions and maybe other industries or whatever. But we all have to have a place to live, and I want to stay positive.
The next few months will be crucial as the city navigates this new challenge and works to recover from these layoffs. In Huntsville, Ken McCoy, Fox 54 News.
According to Bankrate, today the current average 30-year fixed mortgage rate is just under 7%, 6.93%, down 4 basis points from a week ago. Federal workers coming to grips with the possibility of losing their job, and a flurry of questions coming in after an email was sent to all federal employees, followed by a tweet raising concerns about job security if they didn't respond by tonight. Some of those employees at Redstone Arsenal now asking the question, what's next? This is the email that sparked the uproar. Federal workers across the country were ordered by the Office of Personnel Management to share 5 bullet points detailing what they did last week. And Elon Musk added to that, if they don't meet the deadline tonight, it will be taken as a resignation. But some departments, the FBI, State Department, and the Departments of Defense and National Intelligence are now being told to disregard the email as they filed an exemption. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo went out to the Arsenal to tell us how this uncertainty is affecting federal workers here in the Rocket City.
Federal workers on the Arsenal and across the country starting their week amid confusion and in some cases panic after receiving an email directing them to document their recent achievements. With round upon round of job cuts, more than a few are worried that email could mean their own position is at risk. Thousands of people working at the Arsenal are concerned about their job security after federal cuts across several departments. That includes the DOJ, the DOD, and the IRS. The current administration wants to streamline the federal government by curbing excess spending, but people here are telling me this is the wrong way to go about it.
Now, I'm wondering, what about my federal employees, my co-workers? I'm concerned about it. Do they have a future? Can we go back and have a trusted American system?
For retired Redstone employee Charlie Green, his concern is for his friends, family, former co-workers, and other locals losing their jobs because of DOGE directives. He says he's most worried for the lower level, probationary employees. Higher-ups, the one handing out the pink slips, not so much.
They're getting their paychecks. But what about the ones that's not getting their paychecks?
And another man with a spouse on the federal payroll tells us it's all happening too fast, upending traditional hiring and firing procedures to rapidly reduce government spending. As a federal contractor, his wife's job could be on the chopping block.
It's certainly concerning. If they're going about it the right way, then that's fine. I don't mind it going through the proper channels, but it kind of seems like some of those channels are being bypassed.
He's also worried about civilian workers on the Arsenal and losing what would otherwise be a great education for his children.
Honestly, we've gotten great childcare at the Arsenal CDC, and I've kind of been worried about losing the teachers there, because they've been really, really awesome with our kids.
And NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center gave us the following statement, quote, NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center is complying with guidance and direction provided by the Office of Personnel Management. At this time, Marshall is only processing employees who accepted OPM's deferred resignation program. It is premature to discuss any potential impacts to our workforce, end quote. Some department heads have been telling employees not to respond to the OPM email until they have a clear-cut plan in place, but others have to respond by the midnight deadline or lose their job. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Lots of concerns tonight. We'll share updates on these federal job cuts as they come out. Until then, if you're a federal employee that received this email, talk with your supervisor to figure out how to move forward. Utility customers were in limbo earlier this month after learning a federal executive order took away grant funding previously awarded to help cover the costs of electricity. But those customers who were affected will now have the money back in their pockets. Our Gabe Glassman now joins us in the studio. And Gabe, this money was originally debited from people's accounts?
Yeah, that's right, Kanisha. Just over 250 customers received a letter from Huntsville Utility saying $100, which was originally covered from federal grants, would now be the responsibility of the customer. But now it's going back to them. Huntsville Utilities Director of External Affairs, Joe Geerdes, tells Fox 54, quote, I can confirm that the previously rescinded grants have been funded since last Tuesday per Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs and the Community Action Partnership. The grant was originally frozen by President Trump by an executive order freezing federal grants. A judge ordered the administration to unfreeze the money, which the White House has partially complied with. This money was originally awarded in October 2022 when Governor Kay Ivey was awarded more than $2.5 million to help low-income households pay their utility bills. Close to $200,000 of those funds were sent to community action partnerships of Huntsville, Madison, and Limestone County. Fox 54 has reached out to Community Action and the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, both of which have not gotten back to us for comment.
DOGE cuts may be taking hold all across the country, but reports you may have seen about a closure in Coleman County appear to be premature. This is the source of those reports. It's a post on the government Wall of Receipts website touting savings the administration claims it will bank with moves to close hundreds of federal offices. $500 million, officials claim, in total by shutting down the Coleman Social Security Administration branch. But when we checked today, everything appeared normal at the office on Commerce Avenue Northwest near Section Line Road. And a worker at that location said it was maintaining regular hours with no plans at the moment for any changes. And we also should note, news organizations have made similar discoveries when they checked on offices in other states, finding they're still open, though listed online as closed. We're working to learn more about the long-term prospects of the facility.
New FBI Director Kash Patel telling senior officials that he plans to relocate 500 FBI employees to Huntsville. The plans were communicated earlier this evening, just hours after Patel was sworn in at the White House. They reflect his long-stated determination to reduce the FBI's footprint in Washington and have more of a presence in offices in other cities. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville posted this photo on his X account moments after the announcement. Representative Dale Strong tweeted earlier tonight, quote, "I applaud FBI Director Patel's commitment to making America safe again and his rightful recognition that FBI Redstone is the best place to carry out that mission. North Alabama has proven time and again that we are willing to and able to answer the call with a second-to-none workforce, state-of-the-art facilities, and room for growth."
DOGE continuing to slash through the federal government. Huntsville leaders wondering if the impact will be felt here in the Rocket City. Councilmember Bill Kling spoke with FOX54 earlier this week, telling us that he was concerned about the impact the Trump administration could have on federal funding to the city, with a focus on local infrastructure projects like the Memorial Parkway interchange. Kling spoke about his thoughts at tonight's city council meeting, noting the amount of city projects that rely on funding from the federal government.
I think we're still kind of in the top of the first inning, so to speak, but all these changes are taking place. Federal grants that we get, the road projects that go to us or to the Alabama Department of Transportation, and from there to us, community development block grants, operating money for public transit, and the list goes on and on.
Kling then asked for the city's grant manager to update the council on the current status of the federal grants the city's expecting.
As new executive orders and actions by those affiliated with the Trump administration are announced, we do a really good job of keeping a close eye on that to make sure that if something is coming down that affects us, that we know how it affects us. But I'm happy to report that as of this afternoon, we have not been notified of any action that is going to directly or immediately impact any of our grants.
Gentry added that currently the city has around $270 million in federal grants. A statewide nonprofit trying to limit government spending by launching an unofficial Alabama version of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. The Alabama Policy Institute, or API, suggested today that the state cut educational trust fund spending for more than 50 non-governmental organizations across Alabama. Fox54's Caleb Aguayo joins us live in the studio to tell us about the proposed cuts. And Caleb, what types of orgs will see these cuts?
Well, it includes museums, job centers, youth and rehab programs, and research co-ops. Locally, it entails Big Brothers Big Sisters, Hudson Alpha, the Scottsboro Boys Museum, and the Liberty Learning Foundation. I spoke with API and the Scottsboro Boys Museum, who told me all about the effects these proposed cuts could have.
The Alabama Policy Institute says with this Alabama DOGE idea, they're just trying to limit the state government's size and spending of taxpayer dollars.
We've seen an unprecedented period of growth in state government over the last 5, 6, 10 years even. And so we're hoping we can kind of slow that growth down, rein some of this in, and really get people back to examining what state government is doing, what they're spending money on, and just kind of question whether these are all things that state government should be doing.
But on the other side of the aisle, Tom Reedy with the local Scottsboro Boys Museum says it would be a disaster, not just for them, but for the 50 other educational organizations and the state as a whole, too.
We're kind of preparing ourselves for the worst here, but, it would just be really disappointing if this happens. It'd be a disappointment, and it would make Alabama look bad.
Now, these 53 organizations account for more than $58 million in state funding. It's just a recommendation for now, but proponents say it comes right from your wallet in state taxes. Live in the studio, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Thank you, Caleb. We'll have more information on these proposed cuts as they come out, but you can find the list of all the organizations on our website, fox54.com.
Now, Fox 54 Top Teacher, sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
Teachers wear many hats, and the one we're honoring today distinctly wears two. She helps keep students on track academically while also exposing them to a world outside of the Rocket City. Meet this week's top teacher, Whitney Andrews from Randolph School in Huntsville.
Everyone always kind of joked like, oh, you're a history major, you're going to be a teacher.
Little did Whitney Andrews know she would later become one.
I kind of had to come to a realization that it was what I wanted to do and it was perfect for me, and I was, ready to pursue it.
Andrews teaches global studies for 8th graders. She's taught at Randolph School for 15 years, and for Andrews,
I stay pretty busy.
She's recently picked up the role of middle school dean of academic support, and when she's not keeping students on track.
We focus on peace and conflict around the world, and so we look at international relations, we look at a variety of topics from territory and boundary disputes to human rights issues.
Andrews hopes her students are able to think critically about the world around them.
Really kind of the big picture is giving them context for what's happening around the world around them, but also giving them a little bit of glimmers of hope that there are solutions to these big problems.
One of her students, Gracelyn Towns, is one of several students going to DC this year. It's a class trip, and Towns believes it's opportunities like these that expose her to the world.
It helps me understand history a lot more, and especially the history that's going on around me currently and not just in the past. And it helps you really put things into perspective a lot better.
Head of the middle school, Jennifer Ragsdale, says Andrews is a balancing act in the classroom.
She's really the perfect combination of challenging her students to be the best version of themselves and offering them the support they need to reach their potential.
And Andrews says she loves being that role model for her students.
I think you can't work in a school or a middle school unless you love what you do.
That is true. Well, congratulations, Whitney. We've got the moment. She was surprised as top teacher, plus some bonus clips, all on Fox 54 Plus. Also, while you're at it, nominate a teacher at fox54.com.
Low temperatures mean high demand on the local power grid, but not enough to set a new record. We checked with the TVA, and yesterday's total use amounted to 32,500 megawatts. It's about 19 million homes pulling power at once, they say. The federally owned utility asked customers to go easy on use yesterday and today during peak times to help manage the demand. We spoke with TVA Scott Feeler to learn about this storm affected the numbers.
We didn't see loads that high, and that's because temperatures came in higher than expected. The storm was slightly different, slower moving, but the temperatures weren't as cold.
Feeler added the cutback helps to ensure the grid's integrity and ensure that loads don't exceed capacity. So far, no problems have been reported.
I really like a good climate stat, so I thought we'd start by talking about yesterday for just a couple of quick seconds. The stat came out really early this morning, and I thought it was kind of fascinating. The high temperature yesterday was 31 degrees. Yeah, it was an incredibly cold afternoon, and we'll get to just how much we improved today here in just a second, but I want to talk about that 31 degrees. This makes yesterday the coldest February 20th since the year 1927.
Albertville High School is getting a new security system, but not the kind you may expect. Meet Loki. He's a Labrador Retriever and a firearm detection canine. Along with his handler, Loki is part of the school's new enhanced safety measures to help ensure the security of the students and staff. He's so cute. Loki is trained to detect guns, which provides an added layer of security to the campus. But as cute as he is, he's a trained professional, so no touching. You may see him roaming the halls, but he's on duty, so keep your hands to yourself.
Well, earning an income while in school can be a challenge for students. On top of that, finding internships with top companies can be a hassle. Calhoun Community College is launching a program that will allow students to have the best of both worlds. The Set Plus program is a 2-year paid internship that fast-tracks students into high-demand systems engineering technician careers. Participants will gain hands-on experience, earn at least $22 per hour, while working with a local engineering firm and have the opportunity to receive a full tuition scholarship. Angela Humphrey with Calhoun shares how the program benefits both students and employers.
A lot of times, especially, it's just really hard to go to school while you are also obtaining a job in the actual field. So I think this program actually meets that need for the student and also for the employer. The employer gets to actually mentor the student and handpick the student that they want into that program, and then they have the opportunity to hire them after the program is over.
If you're interested, details on how to apply can be found on our website at fox54.com. The deadline to apply is March 15th.
The city of Madison is in need of poll workers heading into this year's municipal election. You get paid $150 for working the municipal election, and chief inspectors get $200 to work on election day. To qualify, you have to be a registered voter within the city, attend a training class, and be able to work on election day. You can find out how to apply on fox54.com.
Officially, Mardi Gras is in for another week, but the party's already started in Huntsville's Mid-City District. The camp at Mid-City is having a month-long celebration every day leading right up to Fat Tuesday. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo went to the camp to show us how it's all going down.
Mardi Gras at Mid-City is kicking off this weekend with a couple hundred people inside. Today is a drag show, but they'll be having other family-friendly events all week long. And attendees inside told me the camp is a perfect place for fun events that welcome everyone.
Just excited that Huntsville's offering something kind of fun for girlfriends to do and friends to do. Having a safe place to come and kind of hang out with a friend. We kind of feel like Huntsville needs more events like this, so we're excited to be here and do this and to have some good food and some good drinks and watch the shows.
And the show today, people showed up, ate, drank, and sang along while drag queens kept the party going. It's all part of the camp's month-long celebration for Mardi Gras. They have food trucks, New Orleans-inspired cocktails, live music and entertainment, beads, decorations, and people to celebrate with. And according to operator Cody Morgan, who's from Louisiana, all of this brings the Mardi Gras spirit all the way from Bourbon Street.
New Orleans is a great, place to showcase just hospitality to everyone. So that's what we do here at the camp, and we're excited to have a lot of different events for a lot of different people.
Morgan says this energy is what they wanted to capture, a place where anyone and everyone can get together for a good time.
I think that's what the camp's about. We've had country events, punk events, sober events, tech events. The camp, I think, is really meant to be that place, especially in Mid-City, where we want everyone to feel welcome. We want everyone to have something at the camp that happens that they come for.
From drag, drinking, karaoke, and brass bands this week to the Paw Parade next weekend, this Mardi Gras season is jam-packed over at Mid-City. You can show up for the party every day until Fat Tuesday, which falls on March 4th. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Next Sunday, the camp is hosting that Mardi Gras themed Paw Parade where you can bring your pets to the venue before the festivities of Mardi Gras officially kick off next week. Other Mardi Gras festivities will be happening throughout the Tennessee Valley leading up to Fat Tuesday, and a full list can be found over at fox54.com.
The emergency services in one Lawrence County community is leaving patients facing slower response times, and residents are saying they're afraid what will happen when they experience their next medical emergency. Last week, the Lawrence Medical Center announced it will close its ER and inpatient services. That will mean added strain on EMS operations within the county, as ambulances will have to travel 21 miles to the nearest hospital. The hospital is transforming because there just wasn't enough business to fully staff the ER 24 hours a day. And it's part of a worrisome trend for rural hospitals around the nation and in our state. They don't get the funding they need to take care of the county population, so those people have to travel to a bigger city to get medical attention. It's happened near Huntsville, Birmingham, and Tuscaloosa. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo takes us out to Moulton to see how it's affecting Lawrence County.
All of us. Is it going to make them overburdened with so many folks?
That's the concern for emergency medical services in Lawrence County, a county full of people that might need to get to a hospital, but the nearest one will be a half-hour away in Decatur. Belinda Fike worries that when someone is finally on the way to an ER, the medical system will be so strained that they can't get seen in time. Lawrence Medical closing its ER and inpatient service is part of a trend in rural Alabama counties. Hospitals close and the local ambulance service is forced to take patients to another city for emergency medical care. I talked with some of the people living in and near Moulton, and they told me medical emergencies can't wait 20 to 30 minutes to make it to Decatur.
It's extremely critical. Absolutely. Without a local ER, it's a life or death situation within 20, 30 minutes. Some things require less time than that, and having to go to Decatur or Huntsville it just puts a lot of people at risk.
For one man bitten by a venomous snake about 2 years ago, the risk was enormous. Local business owner Chris Brown says when he needed Moulton's ER, it saved his life. Without emergency services nearby, he may have died before getting the attention he needed.
I did get snake bit by a rattlesnake and wound up having to stay some time in the hospital. Wound up in Moulton first, where they started the antivenom, and then wound up transferred to Huntsville for a few days. And it was very critical. They like to have the antivenom going by, I think, within a 2-hour range. And I think by the time I got bit and got to Moulton, it was like an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes.
With heart attacks, strokes, snake bites, and trauma-inducing car accidents all fairly common, those who live in Moulton say they need some kind of emergency care before it's too late. In Moulton, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Definitely a challenge for the Moulton community. Well, Greg's ambulance service, which covers the area, was unable to respond to our request for comment. Lawrence Medical Center hasn't yet announced the closing date for its ER and inpatient services, but when they close, hospital officials urge residents to seek help in a nearby urgent care or face the ambulance ride to the Decatur Morgan Hospital. One of the many drawbacks of the COVID era was the closure of businesses. Take the Shoney's off of US 72 in Athens. The buffet-style restaurant had to shut its doors and hasn't reopened since. Due to damage since its closure, the City of Athens has now deemed the building unsafe and is giving the owners 30 days before demolition is considered. Our Ken McCoy spoke with Mayor Ronnie Marks on why this step is necessary.
If you've driven along US 72 in Athens, you may have noticed that this Shoney's has been closed for years. Storm damage throughout those closed years have prompted the city to take action.
Our building inspector people have been tracking it since January of 2024. We first saw that it was really deteriorating. A lot of roof damage, a lot of damage at the back.
Mayor Ronnie Marks says the city officially red tagged the building back in December. He says in conversations with Shoney's representatives, there was discussion about another tenant possibly taking over.
They said, well, we're working with a national tenant, so would you please give us a 30-day extension? So Monday night at the city council meeting, we presented the condemnation and we asked the city council to let's just track it for the next 30 days.
The estimated cost to demolish the building is around $32,000, but that burden could fall on the city.
If they don't make it in 30 days, it'll come back to the city council for action about condemnation. And so I'm pretty sure that city council will then most likely take a favorable vote on it to condemn the property, which means that either they'll demo it or we'll demo it at their cost and put a lien on the property.
But he sees the process going smoothly.
We're very hopeful for it. I think it's a great location. It's right there by the interstate, and I think it'll be a good place for a new business.
At this time, it is not known who the national partner is Shoney's is working with in regards to this deal. Mayor Marks says that information could be made available in the coming weeks. Here in Athens, Kim McCoy, Fox 54 News.
We've reached out to Shoney's corporate office for comment and are still waiting for a response. And that odd building near University and the Parkway has officially opened into a brand new museum. It's been transformed into a new spot called Signals. It's a communication technology museum, so basically a museum about how we get information. They will have exhibits to show how TV works and to showcase you and your family on the radio. You'll be able to interact with tech throughout history.
And there's a lot of history. Each of these technology booms that happened, whether it was telephone or radio, they had their own boom in technology and a lot of interesting stories.
Signals Museum is also offering event spaces that are available to rent and technology courses. The debate over the future of Toyota Field is generating some heat at Madison City Hall, where the council president pressed last night to abandon the most expensive renovation proposal. John Seifert says it became clear there aren't enough votes to pass option 3, which would build a 4-story addition behind left field. The suggestion that option be shelved prompted an exchange with Councilmember Teddy Powell, who appeared frustrated by the drag of the entire process and by the notion of killing one option but taking no further action.
I mean, we've got to do something as a council. We have to be leaders.
So that's exactly what I'm doing right now, Teddy.
We have to be.
We don't have a path forward on option 3.
Do you have one on option 2?
Option 1 and 2 are the only 2 left on the table.
Let's
so
vote
we're
on
either
one.
going. We don't have anything to vote on. What are you voting on?
Are we going to keep waiting on options? Because, guys, the price of steel is getting more expensive. The price of concrete is getting more expensive. None of it's getting cheaper. It's our obligation.
Definitely some tension there. Ultimately, no vote was taken on the issue.
Historic figures, the struggle to overcome. You know this to be a part of Black history and American history, but so is joy. Our Kanishadis met stewards of our community, focused on encapsulating that joy through mental health and healing. Take a look at how they're making an impact.
Take a walk into this space.
Follow me into this first immersive room.
And you'll find
the curated gallery. We transform peculiar spaces into fine art galleries.
The basement of the old Huntsville Times transformed into a space to savor.
Savor is a mental health coping practice that we want individuals to be able to leave this space and actually utilize in their day-to-day life.
17 featured artists from North Carolina to Cameroon, Africa, have their work on display for the entire month of February. 4 rooms with 4 types of savoring, Thanksgiving, luxuriating, basking, and marveling. Coordinator Jordan Fudge says this exhibit highlights Black joy and resilience, an immersive experience.
An experience where they're able to really soak and be present and enjoy, and really just what the word says, savor.
The gallery partnered with 57 Northampton, a nonprofit organization that offers mental health therapy and coping strategies. Executive Director Jana Peterson says now was the time to do this.
So we actually wanted to kind of challenge what people are seeing right now and give them an opportunity to say, no, not only do you need joy, but it's important. It's important to have joy in moments like this.
Here's a different type of space.
We want to bring back that same message to Huntsville, Alabama.
Making room for beautiful scars.
People are suffering from mental illness and addictive disease, and the whole families are affected.
Beautiful Scars, Inc. is a mobile nonprofit providing support for people suffering from mental illness. Co-founder Dr. Brian Anderson, raised in Huntsville, overcame addiction and abuse. He's on a mission, he says, to help other people heal.
So it is up to me. I made a commitment when I was in a lockdown inpatient treatment that I'm going to spend the rest of my life giving back this word of hope and inspiration.
Anderson says this method works with peer-to-peer relationships.
You hear the story of someone who has gone through and they've used the doctor. That's the stigma is breaking down. Wait a minute, you're standing before a group of people and you're telling your story and you use the doctor? Because once again, there is a stigma attached in our African American community.
Outreach, a key component to also helping people heal. That's why Beautiful Scars has partnered with Grateful Recovery, a counseling services specialist.
Our relationship with Beautiful Scars is an outreach opportunity to reach out to anybody who wants to receive that help. So we're reaching out together, and the more people who reach, the longer your reach becomes.
Spaces to heal and spaces to overcome. A chapter also included in Black history.
When you think of Black history, a lot of that had to deal with mental health, like how people were oppressed and just the struggles throughout, the last century through that. So a lot of the art that we curated either focuses on mental health or highlights a moment within Black history.
Ultimately, Black history is our history. It's everyone's history.
In Huntsville, Kenesha Dees, Fox 54 News.
Pride and tradition is what you see when you look at the quilts behind me. Gee's Bend quilts. The origins trace to the early 20th century to Gee's Bend, a tiny community in Wilcox County. The works were discovered as art in the early 2000s, and I spoke with the collector originally from Gee's Bend. The quilt's heirlooms now on display at an art gallery. Here's a look at their history.
Take a walk in the curated gallery and you'll see
the work of the Gee's Bend quilters and the collective itself is so significant.
Gee's Bend, also known as Boykin.
Born in Selma, but raised in Gee's Bend.
A tiny town, but as Larry Salisbury Jr. explains, it wields a big presence beyond Wilcox County.
Double-sided quilt as well, my grandmother
It's a community of quilters, birthing forth a creative culture, colors, geometric patterns, and even corduroy.
A lot of my The quilts that you'll see made by my grandmother used corduroy fabric, and it was a popular fabric at that time.
Salisbury's grandmother, one of many women behind this work.
My grandmother's name was Deborah Petway Young.
Young's work among many quilters goes back some 60+ years.
So there were quilters from areas all around who assembled together, who really worked together at the Freedom Quilting Bee. So the Freedom Quilting Bee was a place where the ladies went to work during the day to make a paycheck.
All 4 of these quilts crafted by Salisbury's grandmother. And when Salisbury looks at them, he thinks of times of struggle.
As an African American, I think back to, what maybe could have been, or maybe stories that were shared with me about the marches.
In fact, it was a place Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. felt compelled to visit during the civil rights movement.
He came to Boykin at one point early on in his fight and his, advocacy for progress for Black Americans.
Salisbury also thinks of times of progress when he looks at these quilts.
That culture is just something that you have to experience and just feel.
The culture, even reaching the White House.
You were to look back at former First Lady Michelle Obama's portrait as she was leaving the White House, you will notice that there's a dress design.
Gee's Bend, a tiny community of quilters, but with a mighty legacy.
The progress of our community, that we can even be recognized on an even larger level for such a community as great as it is.
Wow, amazing. The Gee's Bend quilts are on display through tomorrow at 10 p.m. It's part of the Savor exhibition at the Curated Gallery on 228 Holmes Avenue. Big news out of Florence today. The University of North Alabama is planning an opting in to the House versus NCAA settlement in 2026. It's a significant move for the athletics department, rearranging the strategic plan around new revenue streams and financial commitments to players. Our Simon Williams was at this morning's Board of Trustee meeting, and he has more.
At this point, it's just a declaration, but it's an important one. UNA's opting into the House settlement means they're doing their part to further untether college athletics from the guise of amateurism. Now, there are other parts to the settlement, but the rev share comes with the biggest dollar sign attached to it, and in turn, the most attention.
The House settlement is an earthquake that will restructure strategic plans and priorities at every Division I institution. In athletics, you have to adapt.
Since the 2025-26 school year is budgeted already, they think it makes sense to account for the new money in and out starting in 26-27. With the completion of Bank Independence Stadium set for spring of 2026, the school anticipates generating increased revenue from the new corporate sponsorships and sellable experiences in the stadium.
Ultimately, we can accomplish as much or more next year. We're upholding a commitment to 50-some athletes. That ultimately ended up being a very appealing decision for us, not to mention what's the legal landscape look like 4 months from now.
There will be some schools in the Atlantic Sun who don't opt in next year, or maybe at all. No matter what that choice is, it requires university-wide alignment to make.
The recommendation to postpone it until 26 makes good sense. I think there's still too many unknowns. My bottom line is I feel committed to those 50 athletes that if we decided to opt in, that would be gone.
I think it sends a message to our staff, sends a message to our players, sends a message to our fan base that not only are you just wanting to take the badge of being in, but you're also making the financial commitment knowing that it's going to take a little bit more to be competitive in the future of college sports.
Going Division I to building an on-campus multi-purpose stadium, this is just the latest decision by UNA to realize championship aspirations. In Florence, Simon Williams, Fox 54 News.
Hey, good evening, everyone. North Alabama men's basketball closing out the regular season tonight at home against Queens. The Lions already have clinched a spot in this year's ASUN men's basketball tournament, and they can have no worse of a seed than number 3. But a win over the Royals definitely will earn them a top 2 seed. And if the Lions won tonight and Lipscomb lost tonight, that means they would be the outright champs and get a 1 seed. But first things first, they had to handle business against Queens tonight in the shows. It was senior night for Tay Fields, and of course he showed out earlier. He either scored or assisted on 4 of the first 6 shots for the Lions. Here you see him coming through and converting on a tough underhanded layup to make it a 4-0 lead for UNA. Now later in the period, it'll be Dante Bacchus. He would come off the bench and provide a spark just after the 12 Under a media timeout, Fields backs down a defender, finds a cutting Bacchus for 2, making it 18-16. UNA at that point, he finished the half with a game-high 15. Now let's go to the waning moments of the second half. Lions up by 2, 20 seconds to go, trying to fend off a tough Royals team. Pass goes Aubrey, Bacchus comes up with it. He races the other way, gets the bucket, and one. Lions nearly seal the deal after that with some clutch free throws, and then the buzzer goes off. UNA wins 74-69. They clinch at least a share of the ASUN men's regular season championship. Let's hear from Coach Tony.
The enormous amount of pride that I have for the players of this team and our staff. I'm very thankful to be a part of this unit. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the past, right? We got Coach Elliott, Coach Jones, winning national championships here during the D2 years. Those are the shoulders that we're standing on. But now these guys are continuing to build the foundation for this program. The amount of pride that I have for these guys right now and the amount of gratitude that I have for the effort that they put on tonight, man, it's pretty cool.
All right, so here's a look at your final ASUN men's rankings. Lipscomb and UNA are tied for the top spot, but the Bison, they have the tiebreaker, so they'll be the top seed in next week's ASUN tournament. UNA will be the 2 seed. They'll face the winner of Austin Peay and North Florida on next Monday.
Many local kids might have hoop dreams of making it big in basketball. But before you make the league, like Huntsville native Kobe Brown or Meridianville's Cairo Lewis Jr., you've got to learn the game first. As part of their Black History Month programming, Huntsville Parks and Recreation did just that. The Hoop Dreams MLK Basketball Clinic and Canned Food Drive brought local elementary and middle school age youth to Optimus Rec Center to learn the game. Drills taught fundamentals and competitions earned them goodies that the Atlanta Hawks donated. Dorian Johnson with Huntsville Parks and Rec says it's a way for the community to support each other.
It's a great opportunity for the community to come together because all of our coaches are local coaches in the area. They actually have partnered with us for the last 3 years, and they actually come out and help us teach fundamental basketball skills because, again, the sky is the limit. I think pairing with Black History Month, we have so many awesome black athletes, and there's so many awesome athletes that come from the Huntsville city area, whether they're black or not. It's just a great way to give back.
Nearly 24 kids were in attendance at this 3rd annual event. The next big event with Huntsville Parks and Rec is the annual Community Kite Festival on Saturday, March 1st. It's a free, family-friendly event at John Hunt Park. Back here in town, Huntsville City Football Club debuted a new look to their team. New players, a new home jersey, for the first time ever a mascot. Meet Marshall, the Cosmic Goat. He'll roam around at the Joe this season as one of the many new faces with the boys in blue. And we heard from Marshall through his best friend Marissa, head coach Chris O'Neill, and Jordan Knight about what they're looking forward to with the new season.
I think he's very excited. I think he's ready to interact with all the kids on match days and celebrate all the goals and big wins for the team.
It's a very exciting time, and I think with everything that we tried to do in this offseason as well, it's kind of to your point, it's kind of really rebranding and pulling the club together. So yeah, it's very exciting.
A new year, so everybody's coming in hard, working hard, and it's time for us to get in a position where we could actually fight for a spot in the league. So everybody's motivated, so we just got to keep pushing on what we have, and everything will be fine.
Next on the schedule for the boys in blue is their preseason finale against the Chattanooga Red Wolves of the USL. This match is a season ticket holder exclusive, so if you want to show up and see the guys on Saturday, got to buy season tickets. Kickoff is set for 3 p.m. After this, the regular season begins on March 9th in Chicago at Fire 2.
That will just about do it for this edition of the FOX54 Week in Review. Remember, for extended interviews, exclusive programs, and more content you won't see on air, get FOX54 Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. Also, remember our mobile app for breaking news and weather alerts wherever you go. For the rest of the FOX54 News team, I'm Gabe Glassman. Thanks for watching.